If you wake up at night and see strange lights, if you find unexplained marks on your body in the morning, if hours are missing but you can't remember where you were, don't panic, but definitely don't ignore it. My name is Sarah. I'm a labor and delivery nurse in Montana. And 5 months ago, this exact thing happened to me. Blue-white light, 8 missing hours, a circular mark on my body. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing. I was just tired, just stressed. Maybe it was a dream, maybe my imagination. But then it happened a second time, then a third, then a fourth. And now, after being abducted 7 times, I understand. This isn't just happening to me. This is happening worldwide. And nobody is telling you the truth. What happens when aliens abduct you? Why are certain people chosen? And most importantly, are you on that list? What I'm going to tell you today won't be comforting, but you need to know. Because knowledge is power, and preparation saves lives. If you stay with me through this video, you'll learn what physically happens during an abduction, how you change mentally, and how your life will never be the same when you come back. One more thing, this video might disappear. This kind of information usually does. So save it now, share it now, watch it now, because tomorrow might be too late. Before I tell you about the abductions, before I tell you about the beings and the craft, you need to understand who I was before all of this. My name is Sarah Martinez. I'm 32 years old. I've been a labor and delivery nurse at Sacred Heart Medical Center in Eugene, Oregon for the past 8 years. I'm not the kind of person who believes in conspiracy theories. I'm not someone who sees UFOs and every light in the sky. I'm a medical professional. I deal with facts, evidence, science. I grew up in a practical family. My father was an accountant. My mother was a teacher. We went to church on Sundays. We had dinner together every night. Normal, stable, boring in the best way possible. I went to nursing school at the University of Oregon, graduated in 2016. Got my first job at Sacred Heart right after graduation. Worked my way up from general nursing to labor and delivery. I love my job. There's something extraordinary about being present when new life enters the world. About helping women through one of the most intense experiences of their lives. About holding a brand new human being in your hands and knowing you helped bring them here safely. My coworkers would describe me as reliable, practical, good in emergencies, the kind of person who stays calm when everyone else is panicking. I live alone in a small house in the Whitaker neighborhood. Nothing fancy. A 2-bedroom bungalow built in the 1940s. I have a cat named Luna. I garden on weekends. I hike when the weather's good. My life was simple, predictable, safe, and I liked it that way. I had no interest in the paranormal, no fascination with aliens or UFOs. I'd never seen anything unexplained, never experienced anything I couldn't rationalize. If you'd asked me 6 months ago what I thought about alien abduction, I would have said it was a psychological phenomenon. Sleep paralysis, vivid dreams, the brain creating experiences that feel real but aren't. I would have been kind about it. Professional. But internally, I would have thought those people needed psychiatric help. And then June 7th, 2024 happened. The night that changed everything. It was a Thursday. I'd worked a 12-hour shift, 2 deliveries, 1 complicated, a breech birth that we managed to turn at the last minute. Exhausting, but successful. I got home around 7 p.m., fed Luna, made myself dinner. Pasta with tomato sauce, nothing special. I ate while scrolling through my phone. Social media, news, the usual mindless decompression after a long shift. I took a shower around 9, got into my pajamas, climbed into bed around 10. I remember looking at my phone one last time, 10:23 p.m. I set an alarm for 7 a.m., put my phone on the nightstand, turned off the light, and I fell asleep. What happened next, I can't fully explain. Even now, months later, my brain struggles to process it. I woke up suddenly. Completely. One moment I was unconscious. The next moment I was wide awake with my heart pounding. The room was filled with light. Blue-white, bright but somehow soft. It didn't hurt my eyes, even though it was incredibly intense. The light seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I sat up in bed, looked around, tried to understand what was happening. My first thought was that there was a fire, maybe emergency vehicles outside with their lights, but the light was wrong, too blue, too uniform. And there was no sound, no sirens, no voices, nothing. Luna was on the bed beside me, but she wasn't moving. She wasn't reacting to the light at all. Just lying there, completely still, like she was frozen. I tried to get out of bed, tried to go to the window to see what was causing the light, but my body wouldn't move. Not paralyzed exactly. It was more like my muscles weren't receiving the signals from my brain. I could think, I could see, but I couldn't move. Panic started to set in. Real panic, the kind that makes your chest tight and your breathing shallow. And then I felt it. A vibration running through my entire body, starting at the top of my head and moving down. A frequency I could feel more than hear. It resonated in my bones, in my teeth, in the core of my body. The light grew brighter, and then they appeared. 3 figures, standing at the foot of my bed. Small, maybe 4 feet tall, thin, delicate looking. Large heads that seemed slightly too big for their bodies. And the eyes, those eyes, huge, black, completely black. No white, no iris, no pupil, just endless black that seemed to go on forever. They were exactly what you've seen in movies, in books, in those grainy photographs people share online. Gray beings, classic alien appearance, but seeing them in person was different. So different. The images you see in media don't capture it. The way they move, the way they stand, the quality of their presence. It's not threatening, it's not cold. It's something else entirely. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. My throat was frozen like the rest of my body. One of them moved closer, raised a long, thin hand toward me. And then I heard the voice, not in my ears, in my mind. Do not be afraid, Sarah. We will not harm you. We are here because you are ready. The voice was calm, gentle, but hearing it inside my head without any external sound was one of the most disturbing things I'd ever experienced. Ready for what? I tried to say, but the words stayed in my head. Ready to understand, ready to remember, ready to serve as a bridge. I didn't understand what that meant. Bridge between what? Understanding what? One of the beings moved even closer. Now it was right beside my bed, close enough that I could see details. The skin had a slightly gray tone, but it also had an almost luminescent quality, like there was a very faint light coming from within. The being reached toward my abdomen, didn't touch me, just held its hand a few inches above my body. I felt warmth, energy, something moving through me that I couldn't name. And then the room disappeared. I was somewhere else. Not in my bedroom, not anywhere I recognized. A room with smooth, curved walls, gray, seamless, light coming from everywhere with no visible source. I was lying on something. A surface that felt solid, but somehow adapted perfectly to my body. Not uncomfortable, just strange. The 3 beings were there, standing around me, watching with those enormous black eyes. I should have been terrified, and part of me was. But there was something else too. Something I didn't expect. Calmness. A deep sense of being safe, even though nothing about the situation was safe. You are aboard our vessel, the voice said. We have brought you here to begin the process. To activate what has always been dormant within you. What process? I asked silently. What are you activating? The being closest to me moved its hand in a gesture that might have been reassuring. Or maybe I was projecting human gestures onto something that wasn't human. You volunteered for this, Sarah, before you were born, before you became the person you are now. Your consciousness agreed to serve as a bridge between our species and yours. Images filled my mind, not like memories, more like direct knowledge, understanding without words. I saw myself, but not as Sarah, as consciousness, pure awareness, in a space between lives. I saw a meeting with these gray beings and with other souls. Planning, preparing, I saw myself choosing to incarnate on Earth during this specific time, this exact period in human history, because humanity was approaching a crossroads, a choice point, and beings like me, humans who could remember, who could receive the message and share it, we were needed. The images stopped. I was back in the room on the craft. The beings working around me, not touching, just moving their hands near my body. I felt warmth, tingling, energy flowing in patterns I'd never experienced. We are adjusting your physical form, the voice explained, opening pathways that have been closed, activating DNA sequences that have been dormant. You will not understand all of this consciously, but your body will remember. How long will this take? I asked. Time does not function here as it does in your dimension. What feels like minutes to you may be hours in your physical world. And then I felt something, a download. That's the only word I can use to describe it. Information flowing into my consciousness. Too fast, too much. I couldn't process it all. Knowledge about the universe, about consciousness, about why I was here, about what was coming for humanity. It was overwhelming, like trying to drink from a fire hose. You will remember what you need to remember when you need to remember it, the voice said gently. Do not try to hold it all now. Let it integrate naturally. Will I see you again? I asked. Yes, this is only the beginning. We will return, and each time you will understand more, become more, remember more. The room began to fade. The beings, the craft, everything dissolving like mist. And I heard one last thing. Do not be afraid to tell others. Even when they do not believe you, your testimony is important. Your voice matters. I woke up in my bed, sunlight streaming through the window. Luna was beside me, moving now, normal. She looked at me and meowed, hungry. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. 6:47 a.m. I'd set my alarm for 7, but something was wrong. I looked at the date. Friday, June 8th. I'd gone to bed Thursday night at 10:30. It was now Friday morning at 6:47. 8 hours had passed, normal sleep time, except it wasn't normal. I sat up slowly. My body felt strange, not sore, not tired, just different, like I'd been somewhere my physical form wasn't designed for. I touched my abdomen, where the being had held its hand. There was a mark, small, circular, about the size of a dime, faint red, like a very precise burn but without any pain. Physical proof. This had happened. This was real. I got out of bed, walked to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, same face, same brown hair, same body. But something behind my eyes had changed. I knew things I hadn't known before. Not facts. Understanding. Deep cellular understanding about the universe, about why I was here, about what was coming. And I knew I had to tell someone. My best friend Jessica works at the same hospital. We've known each other since nursing school. If anyone would listen without judgment, it would be her. I called her Friday afternoon, asked if she wanted to come over for dinner. She said yes. She arrived around 6. I made pasta. We opened a bottle of wine, sat on my back porch while the sun went down. I need to tell you something, I said. Something that happened last night. And I need you to just listen, okay? Just listen without interrupting. She nodded, concerned, sure. What's going on? I told her everything. The light, the beings, the craft, the message, the lost hours, the mark on my abdomen. I talked for maybe 20 minutes. She didn't interrupt, just listened, her face going through expressions I couldn't read. When I finished, there was silence, long silence. Then she spoke, Sarah. Honey, that sounds like a really vivid dream, or maybe sleep paralysis. You've been working so hard. 12-hour shifts, all that stress. Your brain was probably processing anxiety through really realistic imagery. It wasn't a dream. I lost 8 hours. I have a mark. Look. I showed her. The circular red mark on my abdomen. She looked at it carefully. That could be anything. A bug bite, a skin irritation, something you scratched in your sleep without realizing. Jess, I know what I experienced. She reached across the table, took my hand. Okay, let's think about this logically. You're saying aliens came into your house, took you aboard a spaceship, did something to your body, and then returned you to your bed. And you just happened to wake up at almost the exact time you normally wake up. I don't know how to explain the timing, but yes, that's what happened. She was quiet again. Then have you been feeling okay? Mentally? Emotionally? Is something going on that you haven't told me about? I'm fine, I promise. I'm not having a breakdown. I'm not hallucinating. This really happened. She squeezed my hand. I love you, you know that. But I think you should talk to someone, a professional, just to make sure everything's okay. I felt something sink in my stomach. My best friend didn't believe me. We changed the subject after that. Talked about work, hospital gossip, normal things. But the evening felt strained, different. When she left, she hugged me extra long. Please think about seeing someone, she whispered. Promise me you'll at least consider it. I promised, but I knew I wouldn't. Because I wasn't crazy, I wasn't hallucinating, and I didn't need a psychiatrist to tell me what I already knew. This had happened. This was real. And it was only about the beginning. 3 weeks later, it happened again. June 29th, a Tuesday night. I was home alone. Luna was sleeping at the foot of my bed. I was reading before sleep. A novel, something light, nothing that should have caused nightmares or vivid dreams. Around 11 p.m., I turned off the light, settled into bed, closed my eyes, and then the light came. Same blue-white glow, same vibration running through my body, same inability to move. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The three beings appeared, the same ones, or maybe different ones. I couldn't tell. Welcome back, Sarah, the voice said. Are you ready to continue? Yes, I replied without hesitation. The bedroom dissolved. I was on the craft again. But this time, I wasn't alone. There were other women there, 5 of them, all different ages, different races, standing in a circle in this impossible room. They looked as confused as I must have looked during my first time. The beings showed us something, a holographic display, images surrounding us, showing human history, ancient civilizations, and in each one, women, priestesses, healers, oracles, in contact with beings from the stars. We have been working with your species for thousands of years, the voice explained, guiding, teaching, preparing you for this moment. The images shifted, showed the present day, showed women around the world, thousands of them, maybe millions, all being contacted, all receiving the same message. You are being activated, the voice said. Your DNA is being adjusted. Latent abilities are being awakened. You are becoming bridges. One of the women, a young Asian woman, asked aloud, why women? Why not men too? Because women understand creation at a cellular level. You carry life. You transform energy into matter through your own bodies. You have never forgotten the connection, even when it was suppressed by patriarchal systems. The experience lasted what felt like hours. Learning, understanding, connecting with the other women. When I woke up in my bed, only 2 hours had passed, and I had another mark. Next to the first one, 2 small circles on my abdomen. A pattern was forming. Over the next 3 months, it happened 5 more times. July 15th, August 2nd, August 27th, September 10th, September 24th. 7 abductions total. 7 marks on my body forming a constellation. Abdomen, right wrist, left ankle. Behind my right ear, left shoulder blade, right thigh, center of my back. Each encounter was different, but followed the same basic pattern. The blue-white light, the beings, the craft, the other women, sometimes the same women, sometimes different ones, all being told the same thing. You are bridges. You are being activated. You carry the frequency of transformation. And each time I came back, something in me had changed. Not just mentally, physically, measurably. After the 3rd abduction, I noticed my vision had improved. I'd worn reading glasses for 2 years. Suddenly, I didn't need them anymore. I could see perfectly. Better than perfectly, actually. I could see details I'd never noticed before. The individual veins and leaves. The texture of fabric from across a room. After the fourth, my hearing sharpened. I could hear conversations from the other end of the hospital hallway. I could hear Luna's heartbeat when she slept beside me. I could hear the electrical hum of appliances that I'd never noticed before. After the fifth, something even stranger happened. I started knowing things about people before they told me. A patient would come in for delivery, and I'd know before any tests that she was having complications. I'd know which medications would work best. I'd know how the delivery would go. My supervising doctor, Dr. Patricia Williams, noticed. "Sarah, you're on fire lately," she said, after a particularly smooth delivery. "It's like you can predict problems before they happen." "How are you doing it?" "I don't know," I lied. "Just experience, I guess." But it wasn't experience, it was something else. Something I couldn't explain without sounding insane. The marks on my body were becoming harder to hide. I started wearing long sleeves even in summer, covering my neck, wearing pants instead of skirts. Jessica had stopped asking about the first incident. We'd silently agreed not to talk about it, but I could tell she was watching me, worried, probably thinking I was having some kind of delayed breakdown. I wanted to tell her about the other abductions, about the changes I was experiencing, but I knew she wouldn't believe me. Nobody would, so I stayed quiet, kept working, kept living my normal life while this impossible thing kept happening to me. But the isolation was getting harder. Carrying this secret alone was crushing. After the fifth abduction, I did something I'd been avoiding. I started researching online alien abduction, gray beings, missing time, physical marks, changes after contact. I found thousands of stories, tens of thousands, people all over the world describing experiences as almost identical to mine. The details were too consistent to dismiss. The same type of beings, the same blue-white light, the same missing time, the same marks forming patterns on the body, the same message about activation and evolution. I found forums, private groups, communities of people who called themselves experiencers. Not victims, not abductees, experiencers, people who'd been contacted and were trying to understand what it meant. I joined several groups, started reading testimonies, and for the first time since this began, I didn't feel completely alone. One woman, username Starseed777, had been contacted over 40 times spanning 15 years. She wrote detailed accounts of her experiences, the beings she met, the information she received, the changes in her abilities. She described developing intuitive healing abilities, being able to sense illness in people, knowing things before they happened, feeling connected to something vast and meaningful. It was exactly what was happening to me. I sent her a private message, told her my story, asked if we could talk. She responded within an hour. "Welcome to the awakening," she wrote. "I know how isolated you feel right now. How impossible it seems that this could be real. But you're not alone. There are thousands of us, and we're all being prepared for something. Something big is coming. And we're the ones who will help humanity through the transition." We started video chatting. She lived in Colorado. She was a therapist, married, 2 kids, completely normal life except for the fact that she'd been in contact with gray beings for 15 years. "They're not abducting us," she explained during our second call. "They're activating us. There's a difference. Abduction implies force, taking someone against their will. But we agreed to this. Before we were born, our souls volunteered." "How do you know that?" I asked. "Because they showed me. During one of my contacts. They showed me the meeting, before incarnation, where I chose to come to Earth during this specific time. To be a bridge, to help with the transition." What transition? Consciousness evolution. Humanity is at a crossroads. We can either evolve into a more unified, compassionate, awakened species, or we can destroy ourselves through war, environmental collapse, and separation. The beings are here to tip the scales, to activate enough people that the transition becomes inevitable. And we're the ones being activated, women specifically, because women understand creation. We literally create life in our bodies. We transform energy into matter. We carry the frequency that the planet needs right now. It sounded insane, but it also made a strange kind of sense. Over the next few weeks, I connected with more experiencers, heard more stories, learned more about what was happening to me. And slowly, I started to accept it. This was real. This was happening, and I had a choice. I could keep hiding, keep pretending, keep living in fear, or I could embrace it. Step into this role. Become the bridge they said I was meant to be. After the 6th abduction, I decided to do something risky. I scheduled an appointment with my primary care doctor, Dr. Richard Chan. I'd been seeing him for 5 years. He was thorough, scientific, rational. I was going to show him the marks, get a medical opinion, see if there was any physical explanation. The appointment was on a Thursday afternoon. I took a half day off work. I'm here because I have some unusual marks on my body, I told him. I don't know what caused them. I'd like you to examine them. Of course, he said. Let me take a look. I showed him 7 circular marks, perfectly symmetrical, arranged in a pattern across my body. He examined each one carefully, took measurements, photographed them, asked questions about when they appeared, if they hurt, if there was any discharge or infection. These are unusual, he admitted. They're very precise, almost like they were made with some kind of instrument. Have you had any medical procedures recently? Any injections? Biopsies? No, nothing like that. Have you noticed them appearing, or did you just discover them already formed? I hesitated. This was the moment. Tell the truth or lie. I told him a partial truth. I wake up and they're there. I don't remember getting them. That's concerning. Have you been experiencing any blackouts? Memory loss? Disorientation? Sometimes I lose track of time. A few hours here and there. He was quiet, thinking. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. Sarah, I want to refer you to a neurologist. These symptoms, unexplained marks, missing time, they could indicate a seizure disorder, or possibly a sleep disorder causing parasomnia. We need to rule out medical causes. I felt panic rising. I don't think it's a seizure. Let's not jump to conclusions, but we need to investigate thoroughly. I'm also going to order some blood work. Check your hormone levels. Make sure there's nothing systemic going on. I agreed. What choice did I have? Refusing would make me look even more suspicious. I got the blood work done that afternoon, scheduled an appointment with the neurologist for the following week. The blood work came back normal, completely normal, everything within perfect ranges. The neurologist, Dr. Susan Morrison, ran a full battery of tests. EEG to check for seizure activity, MRI to check for brain abnormalities, sleep study to check for parasomnia. Everything came back normal. Dr. Morrison was puzzled. I can't find any neurological explanation for your symptoms. Your brain is completely healthy. No signs of seizure activity, no abnormalities, no sleep disorders. Then what's causing the marks? I asked. She hesitated. Sometimes, she said carefully, when we can't find a physical cause, we have to consider psychological factors. Stress can manifest in unusual ways. Have you been under a lot of pressure lately? And there it was, the suggestion that this was all in my head. I'm fine, I said. Just forget it. Thank you for your time. I left before she could refer me to a psychiatrist. The medical system couldn't help me, because what was happening to me wasn't a disease. It wasn't a disorder. It was something medicine didn't have a category for. After the 7th abduction in late September, the abilities I'd been developing became impossible to ignore. It started at work. I was assisting with a delivery. The baby was in distress, heart rate dropping. The mother was panicking. Dr. Williams was preparing for an emergency C-section, but I felt something. A knowing, clear and certain. Wait, I said. Give her 2 more minutes. The baby will turn. I can feel it. Dr. Williams looked at me like I was crazy. Sarah, we don't have 2 minutes. We need to move. Now, please. Just trust me. 2 minutes. She hesitated, then nodded. Okay. 2 minutes. I placed my hands on the mother's abdomen, closed my eyes, felt the baby's position, felt the energy, felt what needed to happen. And I directed energy, not consciously, instinctively. Warmth flowing through my hands into the mother's body. 1 minute passed, the monitor changed, the baby's heart rate stabilized, then improved. It's turning, Dr. Williams said, shocked. The baby's turning. 90 seconds later, the baby was in the correct position. The delivery proceeded naturally. Healthy baby, healthy mother. Dr. Williams pulled me aside afterward. What did you do? How did you know? I don't know, I lied. Just a feeling, but I did know. I'd used something, some ability, some power I didn't understand but was learning to access. It happened again 2 days later. An elderly patient in the ER, heart attack, not responding to treatment. I was there checking on a postpartum mother when I heard the code blue. I walked past the room, saw the doctors working, felt something pull me toward the patient. I stood in the doorway, focused, directed energy, warm golden light in my mind flowing toward the man on the table. His heart rhythm stabilized. Within seconds, unexplainably, one of the ER doctors noticed me standing there, looked at me strangely, but said nothing. I left quickly, before anyone could ask questions. That night, I sat in my house with Luna, staring at my hands. These ordinary hands that were suddenly capable of extraordinary things. I wasn't just receiving information anymore. I was channeling something. Healing energy, life force, whatever you wanted to call it. The beings had said I was being activated. This is what they meant. Dormant abilities waking up. Capacities that all humans have, but most never access. I should have been terrified. But instead, I felt something else. Purpose. Like my entire life had been leading to this moment. This activation. This role. I was becoming what they said I would become. A bridge. Between ordinary human consciousness and something more. As my abilities grew stronger, I became more active in the experiencer communities online. Sharing my story, learning from others, finding support. One forum had over 15,000 members, all people who'd been contacted, all describing similar experiences. The moderator, a woman named Christine, who'd been contacted for over 20 years, created a private group for those of us experiencing rapid activation. About 50 women, all going through similar changes. We started having weekly video calls, sharing our experiences, supporting each other through the isolation and confusion. One woman, Maria from Brazil, had developed telepathic abilities. She could hear people's thoughts if she focused. It terrified her at first, but she was learning to control it. Another woman, Yuki from Japan, had started having precognitive dreams, seeing events before they happened. She'd predicted 3 earthquakes in her region, all accurate. A third woman, Amara from Kenya, had developed the ability to see energy fields around people, auras. She could diagnose illness by looking at the disruptions in someone's energy field. We were all developing different abilities, but the pattern was clear. We were being given gifts, tools, capacities we'd made for whatever was coming. Christine explained in her theory during one of our calls. The beings have been doing this for decades, centuries maybe, slowly activating humans who volunteer at the soul level, building a network of awakened people. And now we're reaching critical mass. Enough of us are activated that the frequency shift becomes inevitable. What frequency shift? I asked. Earth's consciousness frequency. Right now, humanity operates primarily from fear, separation, competition, low frequencies. But we're shifting toward love, unity, cooperation, higher frequencies. Those of us being activated, we're anchors for the new frequency. We hold it. We embody it. And gradually, everyone else starts to entrain to it. It sounded like spiritual philosophy, but I'd seen too much to dismiss it. My abilities were real. The changes were real. Something was definitely happening. Starseed 777 sent me another message. I need to warn you about something. As your abilities get stronger, you're going to face resistance. Not from the beings, from humans. People will be threatened by what you can do. They'll try to explain it away, rationalize it, or worse, they'll try to use you. Be very careful who you show your abilities to. I thought about Dr. Williams, the strange look she'd given me after the delivery. The ER doctor who'd seen me standing in the doorway during the code blue. How many people had noticed? How long before someone started asking serious questions? Living a double life was exhausting. At work, I was Sarah, the competent nurse. Reliable, normal, unremarkable. At home, I was something else. Someone developing abilities that shouldn't exist. Someone in regular contact with non-human intelligences. Someone who knew that everything humans believed about reality was incomplete. The strain was showing. I'd lost weight, wasn't sleeping well, had dark circles under my eyes. Jessica confronted me in the break room at work. "Sarah, I'm worried about you. You look exhausted. Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Just tired. You're not fine. You've lost like 15 pounds. You look like you're not sleeping. Is something going on?" I wanted to tell her. So badly, I wanted to share the truth with my best friend. But I knew what would happen. She'd think I was having a breakdown. She'd try to get me psychiatric help. She might even report me to the hospital administration. "I'm just going through something," I said vaguely. "Personal stuff? I'll be okay." She didn't look convinced. "If you need to talk about anything, I'm here. You know that, right?" "I know, thank you." But I didn't talk to her. Couldn't talk to her. The gap between us was growing wider every day. My family was also noticing. My mom called from Ohio. "Your sister said you look tired in your photos. Are you working too much?" "No, Mom, I'm fine. Just busy. You need to take care of yourself. Maybe come visit for Thanksgiving? Get away from work for a bit?" "Maybe, I'll see." But I knew I wouldn't go. How could I? Sitting around the Thanksgiving table, pretending everything was normal while I had 7 marks on my body and abilities I couldn't explain. While I was being contacted by beings from another world. While my entire understanding of reality had been shattered and rebuilt. I couldn't do it. Couldn't pretend. Couldn't act like nothing had changed. The isolation was becoming unbearable. The only people I could be honest with were online. Women I'd never met in person, connected only through screens and shared impossible experiences. It wasn't enough, but it was all I had. I need to pause here and talk directly to you. To anyone watching this who might be experiencing similar things, if you're finding unexplained marks on your body, if you're losing hours with no memory, if you're developing abilities you can't explain, if you're seeing beings in your bedroom at night, here's what you need to know. First, you're not alone. There are thousands of us, maybe millions worldwide, all being contacted, all being activated, all carrying this impossible secret. Second, trust your experience, even when everyone around you says it's not real, even when doctors can't find a medical explanation, even when your own mind tries to rationalize it away. Trust what you know happened. Third, find community, online if you have to. Connect with other experiencers. You can't carry this alone. The isolation will destroy you. Fourth, be careful who you tell. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone needs to know. Protect yourself. Protect your reputation. Protect your livelihood. Share only with people who've proven they can handle difficult truths. Fifth, document everything. Keep a journal. Write down dates, times, details. Take photos of marks. Record your experiences. Not for proof. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, but for yourself. To track patterns. To understand what's happening to you. Sixth, develop your abilities carefully. If you're noticing changes, heightened intuition, healing abilities, telepathy, whatever it is, practice in private. Learn control before you demonstrate anything publicly. Seventh, take care of your physical body. This process is intense. Eat well, sleep when you can, exercise. Ground yourself. Your body is going through massive changes. Support it. Eighth, find meaning in it. This isn't random. You weren't chosen randomly. Your soul agreed to this. There's a purpose, even if you don't understand it yet. Hold on to that. Let it sustain you through the difficult parts. And ninth, most importantly, don't let fear control you. Yes, this is scary. Yes, it challenges everything. Yes, your life will never be the same. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. You're evolving, becoming more. Accessing capacities that humans have always had but forgot how to use. You're part of something extraordinary, something that's happening worldwide, a shift in human consciousness, an evolution in real time, and you were chosen to be part of it. Honor that, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. October 15th, almost 4 months after the first contact. This one was different. I went to bed around 10 p.m. like usual. But this time, I wasn't taken by surprise. I felt them coming. A tingling awareness, like knowing someone is watching you before you see them. The light came, the vibration, the beings. But when the room dissolved, I wasn't on the craft. I was somewhere else entirely. A vast space, not a room, more like being suspended in the cosmos. Stars surrounding me, galaxies, infinite space in all directions. And I wasn't alone. Hundreds of women, maybe thousands, all floating in this impossible space, all from Earth, all being contacted, all being activated. This is the network, the voice said. Not just one being now, multiple voices speaking as one. These are your sisters, the bridges, the activated ones. You are part of a global awakening. I looked around. Women of every age, every race, every culture, all connected, all part of this. We showed you individually first, the voices continued. Now we show you collectively. So you understand you are not isolated. You are part of something vast, something that spans your entire planet. An image formed, Earth from space and light. Millions of points of light scattered across every continent. Women all activated, all holding the new frequency. This is what you are building, the voices said. A network of consciousness. When enough nodes are activated, the network reaches critical mass, and the shift becomes irreversible. Humanity evolves. Consciousness expands. Your species joins the galactic community. How many more, I asked? How many more need to be activated? You are close. Very close. Within the next 5 years, critical mass will be reached. And then everything changes. What if we fail? What if not enough people awaken? Then the cycle continues. Your species will face another opportunity in the future. But many will suffer. Many will die. The transition will be violent instead of peaceful. The myth. This is the compassionate path. The gentle awakening. But it requires participation. It requires courage. The space began to fade. The women began to disappear, one by one, returning to their bodies, their lives, their worlds. Remember what you saw here, the voices said. Remember you are not alone. And when the time comes to speak publicly, remember this network will support you. I woke up in my bed, October 16th, 6 a.m., and I knew. The time was coming. Soon I would have to go public, share my story openly, face whatever consequences came. Because this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about all of us. For 2 weeks, after the 8th encounter, I wrestled with the decision. Going public meant risk, real risk. I could lose my job, my license, my credibility, everything I'd built. But staying silent meant carrying this burden alone. Meant letting others who were experiencing this feel isolated. Meant not fulfilling the purpose I'd been activated for. I talked to Christine and the other women in our group. Many had already gone public in various ways, some anonymously online, some using their real names, some had faced backlash, lost jobs, lost relationships, been labeled crazy. But they all said the same thing. Going public was worth it, because the people who needed to hear the message found it. And that made all the difference. Starseed 7 was the most direct. You're going to do it eventually. The question is when. And the beings are telling you when. Now. The time is now. Before you talk yourself out of it. I decided to start small, create an anonymous blog, share my experiences, see what happened. I called it Activated Voices. Posted my first entry on November 1st. My name is Sarah. I'm a nurse, and I've been contacted by non-human intelligences 7 times in the past 4 months. This is my story. I wrote everything. The encounters, the marks, the abilities, the changes, the isolation, the medical examinations, all of it. I posted it, held my breath, waited. Within 24 hours, I had over 1,000 views, 50 comments, people sharing their own experiences, people saying thank you for speaking up, people saying they thought they were alone until they read my words. Within a week, 10,000 views, hundreds of comments. The post was being shared on social media, in forums, in experiencer communities worldwide. I wrote a second post, then a third. Each one got more views, more engagement, more people reaching out. And then something unexpected happened. A producer from a podcast about paranormal experiences reached out, asked if I'd be willing to be interviewed. Anonymously, if I preferred, I said yes. The interview went live on November 20th. Within days, it had over 100,000 downloads. My story was out there, really out there. And there was no taking it back. The backlash came quickly. Someone at the hospital recognized details from my story, put together that the anonymous nurse was me, started spreading rumors. Jessica confronted me in the parking lot after a shift. Is it true? Are you the one behind that blog? The podcast? Yes, it's me, Sarah. Oh my God, why? Why would you do this publicly? Because people need to know. People are experiencing this and they think they're alone. They think they're crazy. I'm telling them they're not. But you're risking everything, your job, your reputation. People are going to think you've lost your mind. Some people will. But the people who need this message will find it. And that's what matters. She looked at me like she didn't know me anymore. I can't support this. I'm sorry. I just can't watch you destroy your life over something that isn't real. It is real, Jess. Whether you believe it or not, it's real. She walked away. We haven't spoken since. 2 days later, I was called into a meeting with hospital administration. Dr. Williams was there. The head of nursing, HR representative. We've received complaints, the HR rep said, about online content that appears to be coming from you. Content that some people find concerning. I write about my personal experiences on my own time. That's not a hospital matter. It becomes a hospital matter when it affects your professional credibility. We've had patients specifically request not to have you as their nurse because they're uncomfortable with the things you've claimed online. I haven't claimed anything. I've shared my experiences. Dr. Williams leaned forward. Sarah, I've known you for 8 years. You're one of the best nurses I've worked with. But this, she gestured vaguely, this alien contact story. It's affecting how people perceive your judgment, your mental stability. My work hasn't changed. Check my records. Check my patient outcomes. Nothing has changed professionally. The HR rep looked at her notes. We're not terminating you, but we are recommending a mandatory psychological evaluation before you can continue patient care. I felt of anger rising. You're requiring a psych eval because I talk about aliens online? That's discrimination. We're requiring it because multiple staff members have expressed concern about your mental fitness for duty. I had a choice. Fight it. Make a scene. Probably get fired anyway, or comply. Take the eval. Prove I was fine. Keep my job. I complied. The psychiatric evaluation was scheduled for December 3rd. Dr. Martin Reeves, clinical psychologist specializing in workplace mental health assessments. He was professional, neutral, asked standard questions. How was I sleeping? Eating? Any thoughts of self-harm? History of mental illness? Substance use? I answered honestly. Sleeping fine, eating well, no depression, no anxiety disorder, no substance issues, no family history of psychosis or schizophrenia. Then he brought up the blog, the podcast. Tell me about your alien contact experiences. I told him, calmly, clearly, without emotion, just facts. What happened? When? how I responded, the physical marks, the abilities developing, the community I'd found. He listened without interrupting, took notes. His face remained neutral. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Sarah, you present as lucid, rational, and self-aware. Your thought processes are organized. Your affect is appropriate. You don't show signs of psychosis or dissociation. So I'm cleared to work?" He hesitated. "Here's my professional opinion. I cannot find evidence of mental illness. However, I also cannot verify the objective reality of your experiences. What I can say is that you genuinely believe what you're telling me. And that belief, whether the experiences are objectively real or not, doesn't appear to be impairing your functioning. I was cleared, returned to work. But the damage was done. Coworkers treated me differently. Patients requested other nurses. I was isolated, marked. The crazy one who believed in aliens. But I also received messages, dozens, then hundreds, from people thanking me, people sharing their own experiences, people saying my story gave them courage to accept what was happening to them. And that made it worth it. December 20th, winter solstice, the longest night of the year. I woke to the light, the vibration, the beings. "This will be your last contact for some time," the voice said. "You have been fully activated. The work now is integration, living what you have learned, sharing what you know, being the bridge. Why the last contact? Because you no longer need us in this direct way. You have access now. You can reach us through meditation. Through intention, we are always available. But the intensive activation phase is complete. What comes next? You live. You share. You connect with others. You help build the network. And when the time is right, when critical mass is reached, you will know. All of you will know simultaneously, and the shift will occur. How will I know when it's time? You will feel it. A resonance, a frequency shift, unmistakable, like a bell ringing through your entire being. And when it happens, gather with the others, the activated ones. Your physical presence together amplifies the frequency, creates nodes of high consciousness that others can entrain to. The beings stepped back. The craft began to fade. One final message came through. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for speaking when others stay silent. Your voice matters. Your testimony creates permission for others to awaken. You are doing exactly what you came here to do. I woke up. December 21st, winter solstice. The sun rising. 9 encounters, 9 marks on my body. And now, integration. I'm recording this today. March 15th, 2025. 9 months after the first contact. My life has changed completely. In some ways, for the worse. In other ways, for the better. I lost friends. Jessica and I don't speak. Some family members have distanced themselves. Coworkers avoid me. But I gained a community, a global network of activated women. We support each other, share experiences, learn from each other, build the frequency together. I still work at the hospital, still deliver babies, still love my job. But now I also do it consciously, deliberately directing healing energy, holding space for mothers in transition, being a bridge between fear and love. My blog has grown over 100,000 followers now. I've been interviewed on multiple podcasts. I've connected with researchers studying contact phenomena, with other nurses and doctors who've been activated. The abilities continue to develop. I can sense illness now without tests, can direct healing energy with intention, can communicate telepathically with those who are open to it. And I'm not alone. The network is growing. Thousands of women going public, sharing stories, supporting each other, building critical mass. We're close. I can feel it. Maybe 2 more years, maybe less. But the shift is coming. The frequency is rising. More people are awakening every day. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself in my story, if you've had experiences you can't explain, if you feel something shifting inside you, if you know there's more to reality than you've been taught, Listen carefully. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You are awakening. An awakening can be uncomfortable, disorienting, frightening even. But it's also the most important thing happening on this planet right now. Here's what you need to do. First, find others. You cannot do this alone. Search for experiencer community. Or communities. Find people who understand. Build your support network. Second, trust your own experience over anyone else's opinion. You know what happened to you. Honor that, knowing even when others doubt. Third, take care of yourself. This process is intense physically, mentally, emotionally. Rest when you need rest. Eat well. Ground yourself in nature. Your body is upgrading. Support it. Fourth, be patient with others who don't understand. They're not ready. That's okay. Not everyone awakens at the same time. Don't waste energy trying to convince skeptics. Focus on those who are ready. Fifth, develop your abilities responsibly. Whatever gifts are emerging, practice them. Understand them, but don't show off. Don't use them for ego. They're tools for service. Treat them accordingly. Sixth, find your purpose in this. Why were you activated? What role are you meant to play? Listen for guidance. It will come. Through meditation, dreams, synchronicities, the beings will guide you. And seventh, have courage. Going public is scary. Sharing your story is risky, but it's also necessary. Your voice gives others permission to speak. Your testimony creates ripples that spread farther than you can imagine. We need you. The network needs you. Humanity needs you. Don't hide. Don't stay silent. Don't let fear win. Step forward. Speak up. Be the bridge you came here to be. But I also need to give you a warning, a serious one. Not everyone will support your awakening. There are forces, both human and otherwise, that benefit from humanity staying asleep, staying divided, staying fearful. As you awaken, you may experience resistance, opposition, sometimes from people you love, sometimes from systems and institutions, sometimes from darker forces. Protect yourself. Shield your energy. Know your boundaries. Be wise about who you share with and how much you share. If you work in a professional field, consider staying anonymous at first. Build your support network before going public with your real identity. Protect your livelihood until you're strong enough to handle the consequences. If you have family who depend on you, move carefully. Don't blow up your life impulsively. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Strategic disclosure is okay. Protecting your family is okay. Timing matters. And if at any point you feel overwhelmed, step back. There's no shame in taking a break, in focusing on integration instead of activation, in living quietly with your gifts instead of broadcasting them. We need many types of bridges, some public, some private, some loud, some quiet. Honor your own path. Trust your own timing. The most important thing is that you keep going, that you don't give up, that you stay connected to the network and continue to hold the frequency. That's all any of us can do, and it's enough. Let me tell you what I understand now. What the beings have shown me over these 9 encounters. Earth is not the only inhabited planet, obviously. The universe is teeming with life. Billions of civilizations at various stages of evolution. Some have destroyed themselves, failed to make the transition from separation consciousness to unity consciousness, blew themselves up with nuclear weapons, or collapsed their ecosystems, or descended into totalitarian control systems that crushed all freedom and creativity. But many have succeeded, made the transition, evolved beyond violence, beyond fear, beyond separation. And those civilizations, the evolved ones, work together. A galactic community, a federation of awakened worlds. And they're helping us, not controlling us, not interfering with our free will, but supporting us, activating volunteers, providing information, holding space for our evolution. Because if we make it, if we successfully transition, we join them. we become part of the galactic community. We gain access to technologies, knowledge, and ways of being that are currently beyond our imagination. But if we don't make it, we cycle back, reincarnate, try again later, learn through suffering what we couldn't learn through joy. The choice is ours, individually and collectively, and the window is now. The next 5 to 10 years. This is the critical period. Either enough of us wake up, choose love, embody unity, finity, hold the frequency, and we tip the scales, make the transition inevitable, or we don't, and we face collapse, suffering, a long dark period before the next opportunity. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. The stakes are real, but so is the opportunity. And that's why we're being activated. Why women specifically? Because we carry the frequency of creation, of nurturing, of unity. We're the medicine the planet needs. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So here we are, at the end of my story, or really at the beginning of the next chapter. 9 encounters, 9 marks, a completely transformed life. Abilities I'm still learning to use, a community I treasure, a purpose I finally understand. I'm not special, I want you to know that. I'm just someone who said yes. Who agreed to remember? Who had the courage to speak even when it cost me? You can do the same, you probably already are. If you're feeling the call, if something in the story resonated deeply, if you're recognizing yourself in my journey, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You're part of this too. So what will you do? Will you keep hiding? Keep pretending? Keep living small because it's safe? Or will you step forward, own your experiences, find your community, develop your gifts, be the bridge? The choice is yours. It's always yours. But know this, we need you. Your unique frequency, your specific gifts, your particular medicine. The network isn't complete without you. So come find us, join us, add your voice to ours. Together, we're building the new world, the awakened earth, the unified humanity, and you're part of it, whether you know it yet or not. Welcome home, sister. We've been waiting for you. My name is Sarah. I'm a nurse from Montana. I've been contacted by non-human intelligences 9 times. And I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not silent anymore. I am activated. I am awake. I am a bridge. And so are you.